What's going down, YouTube fam? Hey, man, I'm so glad that you tuned into my channel, Conquering Addiction, and that you're taking a little bit of time to listen to what I got to say. Look, man, straight up, hopefully, if you've been following these videos, man, you are prepared to grab a pen and paper or whatever kind of device that you have, because at the end of it, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and hopefully you write them down and give an answer to them, man. These questions are hopefully to help show you how important um, like the history of your life is, the environments that you grew up in, and even your DNA, man, because all of those things play a huge role in our addiction. And it's up to us, man, to really embrace, our recovery and the truths that are available for us to allow to expand our life and how we see our life going and where we see our life going. But only you have the power to understand yourself and where you want to go. So it's really up to you. And only you know if you really have what it takes to conquer your addiction and to do what is necessary to recover and make your life better. With that being said, look, man, I'm gonna go over 4 groups of people that have really formed our recovery world. There is 4 groups that have really formed our recovery world, and then share my thoughts on it real quick. And then, man, we're going to go over some questions, and hopefully you write them down and hopefully you answer them, man, because, man, they're really good. Like, I've done them and they brought some insights to me that I didn't even know was there, man. I can give you like 2 points real quick. Of the insights that I got from answering these questions was, man, the first thing was like, it helped me see, or actually I never realized how many people, like close relatives, immediate relatives, actually had some kind of addiction problem in my life, my whole life growing up. Like, I never ever seen it, and I promise you it plays a big role in why I made the choice to even use drugs when I did in the beginning. And the second thing is, man, it actually showed me, because I used to think for a long time that my mother like never did anything to show that she loved me, but these questions actually led me to a place where I could see that my mother did a lot of things that actually mirrored her love for my life and as being her son. So anyways, man, I had a couple good things come out of it, and it's brought healing to me. So hopefully this will do it for you too. But without any more to do, man, the first group of people is spiritualist and religionist. They used to believe that exorcisms and baptisms were the cure, but nowadays we believe that it's just the absence of God in your life. And here is a fun fact about this group is actually they have the highest success rating for addicts to not use again. That's what research shows, is that they have the highest success rating for addicts to not use again after they leave that lifestyle. Group number 2, psychotherapists and traumatists. So they start with the belief that any mental health problem stems from a psych conflict from the past, and they believe that if they can identify that problem and work on it and bring healing to it, then that would fix our addiction. Neuroscientists and biologists are group number 3. They believe that we are born from birth with a biology that causes us to make choices, and the outcome of our choices cements who we become. Although I personally don't believe that. I believe that there's a power in us that allows us to conquer our addiction. It is very helpful to understand our biology. And group number 4, environmentalists, and social scientists. They believe that rules and standards of a particular environment and the way a society defines the problem creates the addiction. And man, this is a big one for me, man. This is my thought. Our surroundings, community, relationships, and the way we lead in our home is very powerful. What we allow, who we allow, and how we live either leads us to conquering our addiction or staying conquered in our addiction. And my final thought on these groups is every single one of these professionals that have developed their view of why addicts are addicts have given us pieces of truth that can help all of us one way or another, but it is up to us to embrace them. Um, so like with the environmentalist and social scientist group, man, the way that I'm embracing that is actually, man, like I've taken a step back and I've evaluated like the kind of environments that I grew up in, and and now I'm evaluating the environment that I'm creating for people to step into, right? Like it's not only important to identify the kind of environments that we've allowed ourselves to be in, right? And then just try to get away from it. But we also need to evaluate the kind of environment that we're creating for other people to come into themselves. Because I promise you, it is true. Like our environments play such a huge role in like the choices and decisions that we make. Peer pressure is a mofo. Very seldomly do you meet somebody that can actually overcome that. I have met a couple people that do that, but man, they are the very small percentage of people that can stay around drug dealers and not sell drugs, or be around drug addicts and not be a drug addict. Like it's very seldom, but it is possible. I know a couple people that have done it and are still currently doing it. But so for me, man, I evaluated the environments that I grew up in, and based off those evaluations, man, I know what I don't want in my home, and I know what I do want in my home now. Like, what am I going to replace it with? And anyway, so the next one is like the biology and the neuroscientist. How am I embracing that? Well, man, I haven't done it yet, but man, I've really been contemplating on like doing that ancestral .com thing, and getting that family tree put together, man, and finding out like who my ancestors were, and like what they did for a living, and the ones that were successful and the ones that weren't successful, and like what did they believe in, like all of this stuff I really believe matters in finding out more about who I am and where I came from, man. So that's one way that I'm going to embrace my biology part of my life, is actually doing the ancestral thing, and building a family tree and finding out who my ancestors are and what they did, what they believed, and who were successful and who wasn't. Like that's one way I'm going to embrace that group of belief. And then the next one is is the psychotherapist trauma is. So I've actually kind of already embraced that. I didn't go to like a counselor or, a professional psych therapist. My pastor, he went to a psych therapist, and when he came out of it, he brought like all of the homework with him, and his experience with him. And he actually helped me go through what he went through with his psych therapist, so I didn't have to pay for it. But man, I did a life map. It really helped me see about my broken relationships, and like why I actually chose to, or why I was using drugs, right? Not why I chose to use drugs, but why I was using drugs. Like I was missing a connection, and I was using drugs to bridge that gap. So that's how I embraced that group already. And then the spiritualist, religionist. Yeah, man, I have a deep prayer life. I love prayer. Man, when I just shut everything down, get into my prayer room, and it's just me and God, and I'm giving my attention to him, man, I'm able to just like open up the gates for his power to flood into and give me some peace about whatever I'm going through in life, because man, that's just how God works. You know, man, you get some peace from him to walk through the storm that you're in, because he's not going to change the external circumstances that you're in, but he's going to change the internal circumstances that you were in. He can take the storm that's going on in you, and he can put peace on it and stop the storm that's going on in you. And then I'm plugged into church, man. I serve, and I give to my church, and then I every single month give to this charity that helps support and sponsor a kid in Africa. Like, I sponsor this kid in Africa. His name's Andre, and like every now and then, man, I get a letter that he writes. The ministry translates the letter that he wrote, and they mail it to me, man. And they give me pictures of him, and man, like just being generous and just showing like God's love and grace to people across the world, like it makes a huge difference in my joy and my walk with in recovery and all of that stuff. So with all of that being said, I really do believe that every single one of these groups is very important to embrace and do some study and put some action in with all of these groups. So anyways, look, man, I hope you got your pen and your pad ready right now, because I'm going to read you some questions. And hopefully, my friend, you will put some answers down and it will help bring some insight to you. Check this out. So this one, record the names and relations who have struggled with addiction themselves that were close to your life. Okay. Identify early life struggles with anxiety, depression, impulsivity, or other personality traits. Record any health issues, physical injuries, or accidents that may have contributed to your addiction. Examples, any kind of injuries that have put you in a position to be dependent on medication, specifically pain medication. Okay. Next question, or not really a question, just something to do. List any important life experiences that may have caused trauma. Question: did your early relationships support your self-esteem, or did they damage your self-esteem? All right, next question. Was your initial use of substances affected by external social pressures or internally motivated factors? Do you currently use to overcome social anxiety or fit in? What proportion of your social group includes heavy substance users? How many people do you hang around that are still users? My answer to that one was like 1%, but I believe it's going to grow even more, because honestly, I talk to people that are still using, as long as it relates to recovery. If they're calling me on any other topic, we're not talking. But if you're calling me because you want some information about recovery, man, we can talk about that all day, and I'll do everything in my power to help you. So anyways, that was my answer to that. Spirituality category. Do you see your life as being controlled by your actions or by an external force or being? Would you identify yourself as religious? Now, this is an important one. If so, to what extent are you engaged in spiritual pursuits? Like, I kind of shared my answer with you guys on that one. Like, I'm engaged in church. I give, and I pray, and I spend time in the Bible. Like all of these things are my way of engaging my spirituality and connecting with God, who created me and has given me a purpose to live life and impact this world with the gifts that He has given me. And every single person that is walking this earth has a gift in them that God has put in them. And that includes you. Like, you have a gift. God has given you a gift. And man, when you embrace your spirituality, you can get a hold of it and you can use it. God gotta use it through you. Like, it's an amazing thing to get a hold of. And last question. What insights regarding your struggles has this exercise revealed to you that weren't clear when you began reading this chapter? Anyways, you guys, this video is a little bit longer than my other ones. I try to keep it at like 10 minutes or so, but man, this chapter that we just went over was just loaded with information. Like, I had to like not bring information to it because it was so much. But anyways, man, I hope you guys have an amazing day. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you have friends that just need something to help them move along in their recovery, man, don't be shy and not tell them about the channel Conquering Addiction, man, because hopefully we can help them get on the train and going too with some purpose in their life, man. So subscribe to my channel, man, and have an amazing day, you guys.